Hello YouTube viewers, hope everyone is doing well. So in this video we'll talk about rate limiting. So what is rate limiting? It is a way of controlling the amount of traffic a web application or an API receives. It can be used as a simple defense against denial of services attack, or it can be used with a subscription model, for example, pay as you go to control how many times a user can access an API. These are only a few examples of the implementation. There are plenty of other scenarios where rate limiting can be implemented. In .NET 7, the rate limiting is available out of the box. There are different types of rate limiters: concurrency limit, fixed window limit, sliding window limit, and token bucket limit. So in this video, we'll talk about fixed window limit. Fixed window limit lets you apply limits such as 60 requests per minute. What it means is that the API or the web API or the web application will only service 60 requests per minute, and rest will have an error or they will wait in the queue. So we'll look at the code and see how we can apply or implement fixed window limit. So let's jump into the code and see what we need to do to implement fixed window limiter. So I already have Visual Studio 2022 open, and I have created a .NET 7 project, which is a web API project, and I have a simple status controller which returns APIs up and running. It's a very simple HTTP GET method. In program.cs file, I have added this code block. This code block is adding the rate limiter, and then the status code I'm returning is 429, which is too many requests. And then I'm adding the fixed window limiter. It takes a couple of parameters. One is the policy name and then the options. These are the options I'm setting here: the time span and the request it needs to serve, if there are any requests that are going to be queued, and what is the order of the processing, which is oldest first. That means first come first serve. And in the status controller, whichever endpoint or action method we want to rate limit, we have to decorate that with enable rate limiting, and we have to give the policy name, which is the same policy name which we have created here in the program.cs file. And this is another line of the code we have to add app.useRateLimiter. So what we'll do is we'll run the project and test it out with Postman and see what kind of a response we get and how fixed window rate limiting works. Let's run the project. As you can see, the status says API is up and running. And let's go into the Postman. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to send click the request a few times and see what kind of response we get. As you can see, once it hits the limit, you start getting too many request response. So that's a very simple example on how the fixed window limiter works. There are other limiters as well, as I mentioned in the slide earlier before. I encourage you to test those out. I'm going to test those out as well and see how they work, and if I can create a video on those. One thing I would like to mention is this piece of code where these options can be moved to the app settings.json file, so that whenever a requirement changes, we don't have to build the application and redeploy it. It's very easy to change. I hope I was able to explain it properly, and if not, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to create another video and try to explain it. If you find this video very useful and valuable, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel, help me grow this channel and help me share my knowledge across. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in next video.